Alright. Part 2 of the discussion of Vampire the Masquerade versus Vampire the Requiem.
Last we spoke of
Pears and apples. Size
Well,
of titties.
and
Not really.
Yeah.
well, yeah, we kind of did, not involving tits, but
Pears and apples.
involving the whole biblical concept of the difference between a pear and an apple. And it's actually that biblical part that is that goes back into the discussion of the origins of Vampire the Masquerade versus Vampire the Requiem. Please don't fart on camera. We're showing my crappy chair. And that's that right there. The whole biblical thing is the main difference between Requiem and Masquerade. Requiem automatically assumes that Christianity is right. Just by its very basic concept. There is a vampire named Cain who is the son of Adam and Eve. He was the first vampire. And that there are vampires on the world that are descendant of him.
In the Masquerade.
So that means, well, the Masquerade is something completely different. Masquerade is universal. But in the system of the storyline of the Masquerade, I guess, yeah. Now, Requiem, on the other hand, they acknowledge Christianity and all of that. They don't confirm any of it, though. Matter of fact, here's the important thing. Nobody really knows what created vampires. Plus, vampires aren't necessarily created just by other vampires.
Really?
Yeah, there's two specific vampires that were created absolutely spontaneously that are actually important figures. Dracula, number one. And number two, Longinus. Hell. Yeah, Longinus. And Longinus supposedly became a vampire based off of drinking the blood of Christ when he speared him on the cross.
Okay, so everyone who drinks the blood of Christ becomes a vampire. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Catholics are vampires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's, matter of fact, the sect or the covenant that Longinus started is basically a big sect of vampires that are nothing but Catholics.
That's scary.
And that's Requiem. And compared to
which is Masquerade. Which doesn't really acknowledge Christianity as much as the backstory of Christianity. You know, there was a guy, you know, Adam and Steve. And that they actually existed versus, you know, Requiem, which actually only uses characters that have actual mythical documentation to them. Because there was actually a death certificate for Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Romans would do death certificates and death warrants.
Yeah, it's funny.
Well, they were a society of organized people.
Yeah.
And then the Roman Empire fell apart. And we lost a lot of culture.
Dracula
Technology.
actually existed.
Yes. Dracula actually existed. Longinus actually existed.
Yeah.
These are real people.
Yeah.
These are people that, you know, you can actually go find the actual bodies of. Not saying that the graves of Adam and Eve that are supposed to exist in the Middle East are fictional, but there's a lot of bullshit when you go for 5,000 years worth of history.
Yeah.
Plus, there's the whole fact that human civilization is older than 5,000 years old. Now here's the other thing about vampires, or Vampire the Masquerade versus Vampire the Requiem. Vampire the Masquerade had some very, very set down things. Like you had very specifically 13 clans. That was it. You can't do anything else other than have those 13 clans or be some sort of freak or not have a clan whatsoever.
Yeah.
But
What
realistically,
about
you actually did have a clan. You just didn't know it.
What about the bloodlines in the Masquerade?
That's the freak shit.
No.
And the KT thing is because you didn't know what your clan was. So you don't...
But I find it strange, though, that the Katif would, if they were embraced by the Nosferatu, they would just get kind of ugly instead of freakishly ugly.
It's because they don't realize that they're Nosferatu. And it's deeper realization. It's that, an internal, oh, this is what I am.
So if you never realized that you were a Nosferatu, but you were surrounded by Nosferatu, would you get ugly?
Not if you didn't think you were one of them.
That's cool.
As long as it specifically said on your paper that you were a KT and not a Nosferatu, and you did not take you did not take the disadvantage of clan weakness. You were not a Nosferatu in any shape or form.
Actually, there is a merit in the Nosferatu book. It's called Rugged Bad Looks.
Yeah.
Basically, you just look ugly. You're not freakishly ugly.
Now let's take
Rugged
this off.
bad looks. I like that.
That's what it's called.
I know. I actually.
It's like a
I know,
6 or 7 point.
Yeah, I know
merit.
exactly what
Yeah.
he's talking about. It
But
basically gives you one dot of appearance.
Yeah.
I know, but what I'm
Um,
saying is I still think that just the term itself is funny.
Yeah. Here's the other thing about that. Let's go on to the whole Nosferatu and Nosferatu discussion about why Nosferatus are not ugly in Ripley.
Yes, let's go into that.
That's because there's no appearance trait. You'll notice that on the character sheet there are three social traits. There is I have to push buttons, so bear with me.
We're going to have to do this in like a 3-part, not 4-part.
How much time do we have?
We've gone on for 7 minutes and 50 seconds.
And I really haven't even got to say anything yet.
There is presence, manipulation, and composure. None of those are appearance related. Presence sounds like it would be kind of appearance related, right?
It could be, but I've always thought of presence as a form of charisma.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it is.
Because, like, this is going to sound kind of weird, but I have always, even when it comes to vampire, broke everything down in my mind as wrestling related. You can have charisma and not have presence.
Yeah.
Because you can talk really well, you can and you can do this and that. Charisma is is Raven compared to Hulk Hogan. Hogan has presence.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I don't think that comparison
That's
is
how
charisma as much as intelligence. I don't think Hogan has a lot of intelligence.
What I'm saying is charisma would be Raven's mic skills and how he can cut a promo extremely well.
And that's what I count as intelligence.
And same as Foley.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think Foley would have a whole lot of intelligence, especially after thousands of chair shots to the head.
He's
Or
a
getting
writer.
your bit off.
He's smart enough to know how to write and actually get on the New York Times bestseller list. Or at least, know how to manipulate that system.
Yeah.
But then again, manipulation is a whole different stack.
Yeah. He has manipulation. Well,
He also has composure. And that, that's the big thing, is it's the way that they codified the abilities.
Yeah.
And the way that they changed everything, they changed the entire concept of things, because they decided we're going to have these attributes, and they're going to be all based off of the exact same pattern.
Okay, gotta get off. 10 minutes.
Yeah.
My bad.